On this video of cruising Navi style, we're going to boldly go where no Tesla has gone before. They say you meet the nicest people on a Honda, but I also meet some really strange drivers. I don't know what's going on with people these days, but some people just enjoy getting themselves all frustrated over nothing. So I was heading to the bakery, and this guy comes flying along. Everybody else is doing the speed limit, but he's got to be the big man in speed. So he flies along, and then he pulls in front of me, and I'm going like, okay, this is kind of weird because now he's doing the same speed I'm doing. So go along for a while, and we get up to a traffic light, and so the light turns red, and so there's only one guy in front of me in the left lane, so I pull in there. And once the light changes, we head off, and the guys in the right lane are going a little bit slower, and so I've got a distance to go here till I get to the bakery. So I'm cruising along and get closer to the bakery, and I figure, okay, well, I've got room. There's a black car in front of me, so I'm just going to pull in behind him, get in the right lane so I can make my turn. And as soon as I do that, I notice the guy behind me is the same silly guy in the white car who was speeding, and he wails on the horn. And I'm thinking, boy, this is a strange person. I don't know why he's wailing on the horn. It's not like I cut him off or anything, and I have lots of room. And so I thought, you know, this is really bizarre. Everybody else is going along, maintaining the speed limit in their cars. Nobody's being a jerk about it except this guy, because, you know, he went flying along, passing a lot of people, pulled in front of me. I don't know, maybe he's got a thing against people on motorcycles. I've met a few of those, and they're really biased. But anyway, I thought this is the only thing he really got out of it was annoying himself, getting himself all worked up over nothing, and everybody else was having a nice day. I don't know. You do meet strange people in cars when you're on a motorcycle sometimes. And I just figure that the cars are so comfortable these days that people get bored out of their minds when they're driving because it's so boring. I used to drive out to Bassano in my car, and 2 hours of that just bored the heck out of me. And yet, if I go out there on a motorcycle, oh, you get to see so much more of the country. You get to smell the air, the different, you can smell the different crops on the side of the road. And I mean, it's just so much more pleasant. I don't find it ever boring on a motorcycle. It's just so much nicer, and I really like the Navi because it is so simple. Like my CBR 125, oh man, just to do the valves on it required disassembling the whole bike, and the dealer wanted $700 just to do the valves on it because half the motorcycle has to be disassembled. With the Navi, oh man, it's so easy to work on it for doing the timing, and I'm thinking it's almost getting up to 4,000 kilometers, so that's going to be my second tune-up on it. The first one I just did the check the valve adjustment at 585 kilometers, and that was, you know, really easy to do. I was really astonished at how much nicer it is to maintain a Honda Navi. And you know, the CBR 125, sure, it could do a little bit faster sometimes, but usually around 100 was pretty much a limit, unless I had a tailwind or I was in a lot of traffic and getting sucked along. Hey, nice guy on the bike there. And yeah, if you see people extending their hand and pointing to the ground with two fingers sticking down, that's kind of a motorcycle salute thing that says keep the rubber side down. Kind of important. And most motorcyclists know that. It's kind of a nice way of saying hi. Anyway, so I'm just turning around here, let some traffic get by, because you know, when drivers get their nose bent out of shape here, can create a lot of trouble on the roads just by being intolerant of slower traffic. That's why I'm using this back road here, because there's not much traffic on it. Occasionally I'll pull off and I'll turn around and come back on the road after a couple of cars have gone by, and most of the time if you're on a straight stretch and they can pass there anyway, it's no big deal. Sometimes if I'm like this section here, I believe it's 90 kilometers an hour, and the Navi can get up to 80, so I usually cruise around 70, and there's usually hardly any traffic out here, so it works very well. And that's the other thing with the Navi I like, is for the price, $2,108.60 is what it cost me for this bike. It's a 2022, and it had every color of plastic on it because it was a demo bike. It just sat in the shop for years, I guess, and eventually they had to clean the carburetor out because it got all gunked up sitting there not being run. And it's been running great. It's been really running great. It definitely does get a lot more power once it's broken in, so take it easy on the brake end. I was doing like 50 to 60 kilometers an hour on the brake end, and then gradually as it got up over 1,000 kilometers, I get it up to 70 every once in a while. And most of the areas around the city that I use are 70 kilometers an hour, sometimes 80, which a Navi can do. Sometimes if you're not going into headwind or not going up a hill. And so sometimes I'll head back home and take a 80 kilometer an hour section of the road, and just for a short section, and then the speed limit drops down to 60 again. So, but you don't realize how much you miss having a simple motorcycle that's easy to maintain until you actually have to start maintaining it yourself, because the shop rates are just absolutely insane. They're like $200 an hour. So for the CBR 125, a little 125cc motorcycle, which is not that much faster than the Navi. I mean, it can get up to 100 kilometers an hour. The Navi can do 80, and slightly larger engine size, but a lot more maintenance. I kept having issues with it. I put a new chain on it, and it kept stretching and kept having to be adjusted. And I just thought, I don't need that for retirement. I just don't need the headache of having to keep readjusting chains all the time. And with the Navi having a belt drive on it, you don't even need to touch it until 8,000 kilometers. And I'm not sure how long those belts would actually last. I bet you could get a lot more than that, because I know my wife had a timing belt in one of her vehicles that needed to be changed, and yeah, they would generally last quite a bit longer than the service interval that's required to change them. But you really don't want to take chances with the valves going on you. If that belt goes, it can cause major engine damage, so better safe than sorry. But on the Navi, I mean, it's only on the transmission, and I don't think it gets that much wear on it. I guess once I get to 8,000 kilometers I'll know, but I'm just enjoying the fact that I can take the Navi out for a ride for a couple hours, and I'm lucky if I'm spending any more than maybe about $3 in gas. It is just so much nicer a vehicle. So I lose a few miles an hour on the highway, but the 125 wasn't that good at maintaining highway speed anyway, so I find that 60, 70 is about as fast as I want to go on a motorcycle now that I'm retired. And yeah, it's the one thing I got to do on this one here is I've got to get a foam pad to go over that little black bar between my cell phone charger and my cell phone, that little thing there, because I'm thinking if you ever hit that with your face, you probably break some teeth off. I thought, nah, I've got to have some kind of foam cover on there, if for nothing else than to maybe hang a bag or something on there small carrying case on there to carry some stuff that I want to access during the ride, you know. With the Kemi Motos on the left saddlebag, there's actually a pocket for a small water container that you could put in there. But I really wish they had a drawstring on it so that you could really tighten it, because I put an empty coffee cup in there one time, and then when I got to where I was going, I couldn't find it. It must have blew off. So, yeah. But, man, the Navi, big thing with it is it's only got about 3.5 liter fuel tank. And so if you're going to go anywhere, you have to carry gas. Anywhere around 80 kilometers an hour roughly, you'll want to top up before it gets down too low. So I just carried 2 1-gallon gas jugs in the Kemi Motos. And actually I hadn't opened them up for a while. I had one that I had completely emptied, and I put the cap on real tight, and the gas jug started, I guess it was a bit of a vacuum in there from when it cooled off at night, and it started to crush it. So I put about half a gallon of gas in it from my other jug, stuck it in a van with the windows all closed up for about half an hour, and that reinflated it. So I think next time I'm going to remember when it's empty to unscrew the cap enough that it can suck in some air instead of turning into a vacuum inside. It's not a good thing for longevity for the gas jug. But this is a really nice ride out here. As you can see, there's hardly any traffic on this road. And people say, well, the Navi is too slow. Well, I mean, I'm doing 60 kilometers an hour here. Nobody's really coming up behind me. Just once in a blue moon, someone catches up and they go past. So I could run the Navi at 80, but that's really hard on the engine, and reduces the safe period between overhauls on the engine. I'm trying to keep this thing running for quite a few years. So I'm just taking it easy on it, doing 60, 70 kilometers an hour most of the time, and I can't believe how many back highways I can use going along at 70 kilometers an hour with hardly any traffic on it. So, yeah, there's a few places I'm thinking of going if I can do that before the summer's over and done with. And the only thing about the Navi seat I find is I used to have a trunk bag on the top, but then it couldn't sit back very far, and if you sit back where the passenger is, there's a lot more foam insulation, so it can be a lot more comfortable to sit a little further back on it. So I just took it off. I mean, I've got storage bin under the gas tank. I've got Kemi Motos, and I carry a backpack just in case I buy too much groceries. Then I've got a backpack that I can stick a lot of stuff in, and I think that's going to work just fine for me. It's I really enjoy not having to rush about. And, you know, I noticed when I got back onto this CBR 125, I really didn't like going along at 100 kilometers an hour holding on for your life, you know, with the wind buffeting really hard all the time. It's very fatiguing. But, you know, around the Navi speed, 60, 70 kilometers an hour, it's fine. Like, I can actually hear my motorcycle headset. I can actually hear music that I'm playing on it. But once I get up to 80 kilometers an hour, it just drowns it all out. So, another reason to have a Honda Navi. A lot of people are, it's just such a fun motorcycle. It's so light, so maneuverable, and it gets up to speed fast enough that you rarely are hanging back when you're accelerating from a traffic light. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the fact that I don't have these massive maintenance bills every 4,000 kilometers when it needs a little bit of tune-up. And yeah, maybe one day I'll do a video on what I do to do the tune-ups and it might help other people who are in the same boat where these maintenance tasks are just getting too big. And if you remember at the beginning of the video, I talked about the Honda Navi going where no Tesla has gone before. If you remember, Tesla launched one of their cars into orbit so that it goes out near Mars. And I thought, that's a good intro to the Navi. NASA actually looked at putting a Honda, not a Navi, but a CT90 on the moon instead of a buggy, the 4-wheel buggy they used. But yeah, I wish they would have put a fat bike on the moon, but they didn't have them back then.